All right, so first of all, we've got a brand new school year here, more bus issues. Tell us about the start of the year and regarding buses in Berkeley County.
Well, it's kind of consistent with normal first week bus issues. We've had delays due to traffic, due to more parents drop kids off the first week of school. We understand that. So the transition from elementary to middle school gets delayed, which leads to buses being late at middle and high. We've opened 2 new schools this year without a lot of data. We knew how many students to expect, but I think the enrollment's higher than what expectations were. So what we had projected to be a certain number for bus riders has actually been over that projection. And we adjusted as we pick up more and more kids every day for those 2 new schools. We have growth at a lot of our schools. Sangaree area, Nexton area are areas that just every day is we get new riders, new kids, new students. It's always trying because you send a bus out thinking you're picking 5 kids up and 7 get on the bus, and that happens 2 or 3 times, and you end up with a bus that's slightly over capacity. But the state allows us to run buses over capacity the first few days of school because kids are safer on the bus than they are standing at a bus stop. We don't like to do that, but we are allowed to do that until we can make arrangements to put either another bus, a bigger bus, or split a route, those kind of things. And we don't like to do that too often in the first 10 days simply because a lot of kids are still car riders the first week of school. And mom will sit there and wait for the bus to come every day until they figure out the bus stop schedule. And then the second week or after the first week, they may put the students on the bus and send them to the bus stop. So, our ridership really doesn't settle down until about the 10-day mark is when ridership usually settles in. But this summer we had a big push for recruiting drivers. Our school board and the superintendent pushed to get pay raises for our drivers, which has helped with retention and recruiting. It was about a $1 million increase across the board for our bus drivers and bus assistants, which made us competitive with Dorchester and the Durham system in Charleston County. So, we had a good year recruiting drivers. I think both of those counties have done the same thing. Everybody's been pushing for drivers. We're not where we want to be. We're still short some drivers. We still have drivers that are training that were in the July classes. We have a big September class scheduled with hopes of getting to 100%, sometime October-ish probably. At the same time, we have the state bus system. The state owns the buses and maintains them, and they took some buses that were deemed to be unsafe during the summer, and our replacements for those buses come in October. So we've kind of been short-sighted on that, but we make do. They've been real good about getting us some spare buses, but we expect to have the first wave of new state buses in October, which is a good thing. New buses is always a good thing. Any other questions?
Brand new buses?
Brand
Or
new
new
buses.
yellows, yeah.
Brand new buses.
What do you say to the parents who's been calling and who's uptight about the bus schedule and the timing of the buses?
Well, I always ask parents to be patient, because I'd say first 10 days, it's chaotic around the elementary schools. Parents are walking kids into school, traffic. I don't know if you guys have been out at any of the elementary schools, and this is across the board. I'm sure it's the same in Dorchester and Charleston. We're not the ones that marketed elementary schools being busy on the first couple of days of school. But it is, new parents, new kids. They want to take their time. Teachers are very cautious. Administrators are very cautious the first few days putting students on the bus, and it becomes a time issue. So if parents are patient and understand that because of traffic patterns and because of and I wouldn't say being overcautious, because it's just being cautious, requires a time of putting students on the bus, making sure they get on the right bus, making sure they're tagged and identified, and the occasions where a student might be put on the wrong bus the first couple of days, that bus has to turn around and go back to the elementary school. So there's another time factor. You know, the drivers are out there doing, I mean, they do a great job. We've got a great bunch of drivers, and they're working, you know, they understand that they're transporting some of our most precious cargo. They understand that role, and they really are a professional group of people. And we're excited about adding more to that. So I just ask parents to be patient, and if they have issues, please call, please let us know. We try to fix the problems as soon as we get them, but if we don't know of a problem, we can't fix it. So please feel free to contact us with any issues, and certainly if we can fix it, we will.
How widespread of a problem is overcrowding on buses? Do you know how many routes or how widespread that issue is in Berkeley County?
Overcrowding, we probably only have certain pockets of areas. Some of the ones that I mentioned, we have new schools out on Clements Ferry Road that the numbers are a little higher than we projected. We have areas of growth in certain, like in the Sangre area, there's more growth than we had projected there. Nexton, obviously, Nexton's a booming area. So it's not across the board. It's you know, some of our rural areas, the numbers are the same, but there's little pockets of growth. Tanner Plantation in Hanahan's another one that's very popular area. So we throw resources at them as we identify these growth areas. We throw the resources at them to alleviate overcrowding.
I know there's a video online, or maybe multiple videos online, showing children standing up in the aisle, sitting on the floor, and parents are saying things like, "That's unacceptable." What are you guys going to do to fix a problem that seems like it's been happening year after year after year?
That particular instance was the second day of school on a bus that we had projected one bus was needed for that route, and turns out we needed two, and so that was fixed immediately the very next day. I have not seen the video. I've heard about it, but you know, that was a problem that we fixed. The students were supposed to be sitting on the seats, on the corner of the seats. The bus was a little bit over capacity. It looks more over capacity than it actually is, because I know the number of the kids that were on the bus after talking to the driver. And she had asked them to sit on the corner of the seats, and apparently they chose not.
How many were on the bus?
It's a 66 capacity, and there were 66, but they're middle school kids, because capacities are based on the size of the kids. So there were some big kids on the bus. But it's something that we heard about, we were notified about it, and we fixed it the very next day.
When the school started, how short were you as far as bus drivers? Like how many bus drivers did you need that you did not have?
We're still probably about 20 drivers short. We do have some part-time and some dual employees that help bridge that gap. But we're still probably about 20 drivers short to get to 100%. We want to get to 110%, so that we have bench drivers and substitutes and things like that. So our goal is 110%.
Last year, where were you at when school started?
When school started, probably 85%, and we finished the year at about 75%.
But I mean, as far as the number of drivers you need, you still have open. I'm just
We
trying to
finished
compare.
we finished the year with 150 drivers out of 194.
And you said you currently have some who are about to finish
Right,
certification?
we're training and testing every day with the ones that went through class in June and July. If you're real quick and do everything quick, it can be a 6-week process. Usually it's between 6 to 8, 9 weeks from start to finish, from walking into class with nothing to the time that you finish. And we're pretty diligent. We're not just gonna let anybody get behind the bus, behind the wheel of a bus. But if somebody's not picking it up or not to the level of expectation that we expect, they may take longer than that.
If you have somebody interested in being a bus driver, where do they go to fill out an application?
First thing they need to do is go to our website, BCSD website, fill out an application, and from that application, we'll contact them, get them set up with the class time. If they need class time, if they come with all the credentials, then obviously we can put them to work as soon as all the background checks and stuff are done. But that's the first step, is to fill out the application on the website, and then we'll contact them to schedule class.
Does BCSD currently have enough buses, or do you need more from the state?
Well, that's really kind of a tough question until we have enough drivers to know whether we have enough buses. But we do, the state, we have one bus for every allocated driver, so they have 194 buses for us, plus some spares. They're the same. They keep about a 10% spare. Now, not to say some aren't, out of service. That happens. But as far as the number of buses that we're allocated, yeah, we would have enough buses for drivers if they were all running, yes.
You have 194 routes too, or how
Yes.
many routes do you have?
Yes.
Okay, so to clarify number-wise, you have 194 that you'd like to have. You're at 85%, is that what you said?
We're about 85% now, so we're probably, I don't know what that works out to be. I'd have to look at the numbers. We're probably 172 drivers right now.
And then the ones that will finish this course that began over the summer, how many will that be adding, or you?
That'll get us 5 or 6 more out of the summer classes, and then we roll into a September class we have a really big September class. Looking forward to getting those in class, and there's different levels. Some come with credentials so that they have to go to class and maybe do 5 hours of training and they're done. Some come to go to class, have to get their CDL, have to get a permit, have to go through 10 hours of training. So it depends on what they have when they come to class as to how long it takes. Some of them can go to class, do 5 hours of training the next day and be ready to drive if they've driven before. And we have a mixed bag of some veterans in the class and some brand new.
You mentioned having more bus drivers than you had projected. Is the overall number larger than you projected, or is it just on certain routes or certain schools?
Well, I think the overall number, yeah, we don't have any that are down. I don't think we have any areas that are, there may be a couple of routes that are less than we would have projected, but those are in areas that doesn't really help us, because the areas that are overpopulated, we'd have a certain number of buses and routes there that, again, every day we're monitoring, we're adjusting just so that we don't have overcrowded buses.
You're going to have this kind of growth every year for a long time, according to projections. I mean, what are you doing to prepare for growth down the road in transportation?
We work close with the State Department to make sure we have enough assets, buses, and of course we're going to continue to recruit and train and retain quality drivers.
Is there anything that the school board could do to help you with this that you've asked for and they haven't given you, or anything like that, or?
No, the school board has been very, very supportive in the last 2 years with pay increases for drivers, which helps with retention and it helps with recruiting. They've been, the things that we've asked for, they've been very supportive, along with the superintendent.
What's the starting hourly rate for drivers now?
Starting is $13.04, I believe. But if they come with any experience, we can give related service experience to move them up the salary scale. And it's competitive with the other two neighboring counties.